advice. You never know if it could change your life. Take a chance, you're neither wrong or right. You never know if you don't roll them dice.
Hello, Matt.
Hey, Rob. We're broadcasting live this evening from Gen Con USA here
That's right.
in Indianapolis.
Matt and I are in beautiful Indianapolis, home of the Colts, home of... That's actually it. That's literally all I know
the
about
Pacers
the
are
Pacers.
also there. There's two of the big four sports. As you can hear from the sounds in the background, it's busy.
It's crowded,
packed,
where no one is wearing a mask. There is no pandemic here. We love to see it. We love to be here among the Hoosiers. In the Hoosier state. Matt, what is a Hoosier?
It's just someone who really loves Parks and Rec, the failed NBC drama. I once went on a date with a girl from Indianapolis, and she told me, don't ever come here, and should have listened to her. That's a true story.
True story. Hello, everyone. This is Dungeon Master of None.
I'm Dungeon Master Matt.
I'm Dungeon Master Rob. We are not in Indianapolis. We are not at Gen Con.
In our hearts, we are.
We wish to be there. Our spirits are there. Our physical forms are bound to this earth. I'm sure that everybody who's there is having fun. Hopefully,
I suggested to Rob that we go there, and I really just wanted to go there so I could buy some BattleTech stuff that's out of stock everywhere else. But there's maybe no reason to.
We will go someday.
Someday.
When it's not a pandemic, and also I remember more than 3 weeks ahead of time. Maybe next year, or maybe next after year. That. Who knows?
Next year in Gen Con.
But where we are, well, where we are is where we always are, is sitting in our homes, talking to our computers. But we're going to be talking about something very exciting today. We're going to do something we haven't done in a long time, and we're going to do some monster design. We're going to be building out some monsters.
We will be mashing those monsters up right now.
That's right.
And monsters can come from anywhere, right?
That's right.
From folklore, from science, from fiction. Of course, they can come from the real monsters, humans all along.
It was us. Turns out it was man.
Damn. But they can also come from, we've set sort of some guardrails. We've put up the bumpers along our pool lane tonight to say monsters from the real world and human imagination.
Real Earth creatures or real imagined Earth creatures. So the kinds you might find in books of natural phenomena, the
from
things
the present or the past.
That's right. And we've got some fun ones. Folks, I didn't know if you knew this. There are some weird fucking animals on this planet. Weirder than the ones that we have imagined. So just really...
Say it like David Attenborough.
There are some weird animals upon this planet. The very strangest you might imagine. Fucking weird.
Rob has just been denied forever his British citizenship.
Yeah, I know. somewhere a British censor is just taping my picture up on the wall and say, "Do not allow entry." I already talked shit about the Queen in front of a cabbie, and now I'm on the
in front of a cabbie, Rob.
Yeah, that was a mistake. I forgot where I was for a moment. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about some monsters or some animals that might be monsters. Matt, what do we mean by monster? What really is a monster?
It's got hit dice and stats. Really, that's actually what I mean. It's got stats.
We're gonna be creating stats for these beautiful, horrible animals, and hopefully you find them interesting.
These are beautiful animals. They're straight out of Central Casting. We love them. We love them.
Everybody loves the Monster Manual. It's great. Designing monsters is a lot of fun. A really good monster encounter is a thing of beauty. And, there's always room for more. I'm excited to dig into this and see what we can come up with. So,
and because this is a podcast and not a video podcast, it might be a little tough. So I'll put some links below in the show description. So if you want to look at whatever picture of whatever weird animal that you may have not seen before, you can follow along. So, Rob,
we will also do our best to describe these creatures.
Yes.
So I think that first, we of course have to begin with our dear friend Hermesenda opalescens, the
AKA the opalescent nudibranch.
That's right. That's right. Matt, how would you describe this creature if you were somebody unfamiliar with either opalescence or nudibranches?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, of course, I know what a nudibranch is, but for our uncultured listeners, the little swine, the little piggies run around with their earbuds in, they might not know. I would describe it as like a slug that like ate a bunch of glow sticks. But it also kind of has tentacles growing out of its back that look like candy corn. Glowing candy corn.
Glowing candy corn. Yeah, this looks like a sea slug had a horrible union with some kind of sea urchin, and then like went through a rave pit and came out the other side. Also, I don't know if you took acid and squinted at a bunch of pictures of sea animals, you might end up with something like this. It is a brightly colored, bizarre looking gastropod. It's
like
slug.
right out of the paintings or posters you could get on your wall in the 1990s of like dolphins and whales in the ocean and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's got lots of color.
It's very Lisa Frank, but if Lisa Frank liked to draw slugs instead. Grows to be about 2 inches long. I don't know what it eats. I don't know how it reproduces. I have reached the end of my knowledge about the opalescent nudibranch.
And I don't care, right? We're gonna just go from here with our
right.
monster design.
So it looks cool. What are we gonna make this monster? So we're using the opalescent nudibranch as a guideline, but really just like a launching off point. So I think step one, we got to make it bigger, right? I think we got to make it. I think we got to make it medium to large sized at the minimum. I think this should be a big, honking, glowing creature that you find in maybe the Underdark caves.
Ooh, yeah, caves.
Underwater.
I could see like a slug like this just kind of crawling on the top of a cave and it being about the size of like a horse or a dog, a large dog, a Great Dane.
I think horse size is good. Let's make it big. It crawls around in caves, eating lichen and fungus or whatever, and it's got these beautiful, horrible spines all over it, glowing spines. And let's see, the spines, they're obviously some kind of defense or communication mechanism.
Ooh, yeah. I could see two options we could build this off of, right? We're gonna probably pick another monster and like reskin it or something like that. But I could see like two interesting ways to make fun encounters out of this. Is okay. Here's what I got for option one: is the spines like detach and like float down to land on people, or maybe they just sit there and wave and glow, and it gives off like a hypnotic pattern type effect on player characters, and after which does it want to eat them? Is this aggressive? I don't know yet, but those are my two sort of first thoughts.
I like option two. I think the opalescent nudibranch, or whatever we're going to call this, the opalescent cave slug, is let's say that it does use these spines to hypnotize or stun or incapacitate its prey. It's slow, but if your prey is paralyzed, then you can eat it as leisurely as you feel like. I like that.
Now,
I think this should be a magical creature.
Is this, yeah, of course, this is definitely a magical beast if that's a magical effect. Do you think the nudibranch, the cave nudibranch here, the opalescent cave slug is aggressive? Does it hypnotize creatures that come into its cave to then, sort of slink down the wall and eat them? Or is it just like defense so it can get away to go back eating its lichens? Which way do we want to go with this monster?
Let's break the mold here. Let's say that this is a defensive mechanism. The opalescent cave slug uses this to stun or hypnotize or distract predators so that it can flee in the event of an attack. And here's what I'm thinking. Is that additionally, and this is just some sort of like also then maybe either the mucus or the spines of the opalescent sea slug are useful for something. Maybe they can be used to produce a powerful poison or potion of some sort, which means that these are very valuable and rare and hunted for their magical abilities.
I've got it. Is that like if you can remove the spines from this creature and they occasionally like fall off without killing it, but like they're kind of like little tentacle sticks or something like that, and if you can harvest them from the nudibranch or opalescent cave slug, you can throw them, and they're like a minor image grenade.
Ooh, nice.
Either a minor image grenade or like a charm grenade or something like that. So I could imagine we could put these in our game as like encounter. Let's say right for our ecology of the opalescent cave slug is that it really likes caves with high ceilings, and it uses this as a defense mechanism. If something threatening comes along, it charms it and then crawls through a tiny crack into another cave.
It squeezes through something to, one of the cracks to go somewhere safer. I like that.
Right. So if players want to leave it alone and just stand there and get charmed, that's fine. Of course, maybe there's other monsters here that have adapted to it, which could add some threat. But if they want to like chase after it, maybe they could pull a few pins from its back. And that's actually something kind of useful.
And I think that, depending on where you wanted to put it, you could say, I'm imagining this in the Underdark, maybe the Drow or the Kuo-toa or something, have a symbiotic relationship with this thing, and they harvest the spines, and they might attack the players with, opalescent sea slug weapons. I think that's good. I think these are mostly peaceful. They feed on lichen and moss, move pretty slowly, but they can be dangerous when threatened. And if you're smart and careful, you can harvest their glowing, weird spines to daze or stun or distract your foes.
Yeah, I kind of like this. What's a good maybe I don't know how meaty. I would say make this like a double medium size large size like giant centipede.
Yeah.
Climb speed, decent armor, and then if you are in basically, let's just say, line of sight, if you can look at it, it can use an action to just wave its tentacles on its back. And this has the equivalent to like a gaze attack, though those don't really exist in 5th edition.
Sure.
But, anyone looking at it is hit with the equivalent effect of hypnotic pattern. So that's a wisdom saving throw, or you're charmed and incapacitated.
So we could model this pretty closely off of a carrion crawler, I think.
Perfect idea. Oh my God. I was thinking of like, what slug thing can we use? We obviously
I think
should be a Nell or a carrion crawler.
So it's the right size, right hit points. We could even sort of model the hypnotic pattern off of the crawler's tentacles, which paralyze. We'll have to tweak some other things. It probably moves slower than the carrion crawler, but that I think is like sort of our template that we'll be working with to build this out.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. I really don't think we need to change the stats that much. It's not that high up. We can just add the hypnotic patterns.
I guess it's got spider climb.
And it could have some, like a small like slam or acid attack or something
we'll give it a slam or something. It doesn't need multi-attack, but then spines for hypnotic pattern. I mean, maybe we can also give it a spine attack, which it can use if it's like really threatened. But
we could go back to the first thing and say that it can detach the spines to do some kind of like AoE ranged attack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of it just sitting up at the top of a large cave, and it's not bothering you, but it is messing with your head. And do you want to like figure out a way to go up there and harvest its tentacles? Do you want to leave it alone?
Yeah, I like that. I think this is a cool, very cool monster that we have to work with. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have the basic stats outlined, and it's really just that easy. All we're going to do is slap a supernatural ability on the stats.
Tweak some minor things, add a new ability, remove maybe multi-attack, but that's all the hard work done right there.
Before we move on, what is the like role of this in like a campaign? I think I have some ideas, but I want to hear from you first.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a great random encounter in the original random encounter sense, where that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to fight it. You just might encounter it, and the players have to decide, is this a threat? Do we kill it? Do we hunt it? Do we try to learn something about it? The other thing that I'm imagining for is that this is a complication in an existing two-way combat, right? That this either appears or happens to be in between the players and something else.
This is
like
a great idea if like the players are fighting like a large contingent of drow or some other underdark denizens or goblins or whatever. It's like, oh, these appear and just kind of randomly like both sides are getting charmed by these beautiful sea slugs.
Beautiful, weird. Yeah. That'd be an awesome psychedelic,
oh, this is awesome. I'm just going to kill this this goblin because they're just standing there staring at the ceiling. Oh no, my wizard is also doing that.
Yeah.
Crap.
That's how I would use this. Matt, what were you thinking?
I mean, I was going with the first one in that this is just a random encounter that the players can really choose what they want to do to deal with it. And, ignoring it is completely fine. The more I run for like high school students, which is a lot, like 90% of what I'm running these days, because it's all the time I have, is the more I appreciate that kind of old school design where there's a lot of encounters that the players can choose to engage with however they want, because I feel like new players really love that.
Sorry, there's a wailing child.
Is it your child?
It's not my child.
Okay. Well, then it doesn't matter, Rob.
Then it doesn't matter.
It's not your concern.
I increasingly like just having an encounter with no good, bad, right, wrong outcome, just something interesting for the players to interact with. And they can
these are animals and magical beasts, right? So, like, I think one of the rules in unspoken rules in D&D 5th edition is that animals and magic beasts are, like, neither good nor evil. They're not always going to be a challenge or an enemy. They're just there.
This is one of the cool things
like
about
real animals.
About ye olde tales, right? Is they've got things like unicorns or like the heart. The knights are always pursuing. God, what's the questing beast, right? Creatures that are there almost. I mean, the questing beast is a great example of like a purely like plot device animal,
right.
It's
or an overpowered green mythic rare from Throne of Eladrin set of Magic the Gathering. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, and I just
double strike, Jesus, man,
ridiculous. I like the idea of having more. Just here's an animal. It's weird. It's magical. It might be good. It might be bad. Maybe if you drink its blood, you live forever. Who knows?
Find out. Try it.
All right.
Yeah. No, I do love that. Like, find out and try it. stuff
Yeah.
that you can put in there for your players.
All right, what have we got next?
Which one of these do we want to do next? Good question. You added a lot to the list.
I
here,
like the
and
next one was on both of our lists, so let's do the diving beetle larva.
Okay, next up we have the great diving beetle, Dytiscus marginalis, and we're specifically going to look at pictures of its larva because the head looks completely alien, and we'll include a picture of that in the links to a scanning electron microscope picture of a diving beetle larva's head. It's got, well, here, Rob, you take a crack at describing it.
So this looks like a little bit like maybe like a silverfish or but
silverfish.
I hate them. A little bit like a silverfish, maybe like a little centipede-like. It's got a little like forked furry tail, but then its head, its head is like, you can see how it has pinchers, sort of like a number of bugs, but it's just there's just something off about it. It's
It's got maybe, depending on how you count, either 3 or 6 sets of like mouth pinchers.
Yeah, it's got so many mandibles.
Right?
It's just like, why?
And 4 eyes.
Why have you got so many mandibles, bro? That's just too many jaws.
Bro, turn it down.
Yeah. So it's this like wriggly, multi-legged, bug thing, but its head is just a mass of pinchers and biters. Hang on, Matt. I'll be right back.
Rob was dealing with some animal problems of his own.
That's right.
Your fucking cat would
my
shut
cat
up.
is hollering at the top of his lungs. I mean, we're going to talk about the larva, but then they grow into these also like pretty interesting looking beetles that like eat fish. They're large. They're very large. And they like dive and eat fish and small animals. So yeah.
Right. Whenever you find something in the animal kingdom that like sort of breaks the laws of like the pyramid of a predator and prey,
that's
like
right.
Who's the it's
like
like that's fucked up.
Spider that eats birds, a beetle that eats fish. Not okay. Yeah. Not okay.
No. There are rules.
Okay, so this beetle larva, let's call it. Let's come up with a fun name for it. We'll make it bigger. We'll make it amphibious, water and land. And we'll call it
land. Let's just go with land. Like,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Nautical monsters, like maritime monsters, they're a little more niche, right?
Well, the problem is, and this is, boy, we should maybe do a whole episode on this, but just like aquatic combat in Dungeons and Dragons, not well supported, not easy to run, not a lot of fun, to be honest. Never has been. So there's a lot of really cool, interesting monsters that are, or animals that live in the water that just do not make great monster encounters.
I'm going to save all our listeners a lot of pain and say that Rob just did that entire hypothetical episode right there. So all that needs to be said about
that's probably
combat.
True. That's probably everything.
No, it's fine.
There's probably no. I mean, we could go on and on about,
but like once in a great while. Okay, So it's a land diving beetle.
Land diving beetle.
I just sort of listen. You got to lean into the pincer thing for me, right?
Let's call it the a great diving beetle.
Okay, well, what would a peasant call this beetle? I would maybe like a sheep messer upper, something that eats all my goats. Like
good question. What would a peasant call it?
Why don't we just call it like a goat hunter or something? Like,
okay.
Oh no, wait, the chupacabra is a goat hunter.
Is a goat hunter. Let's call it.
Maybe it goes after pigs. Maybe it really likes the mud. And it digs through the mud and it sucks peasants' pigs down a hole.
Well, we're recreating the ant keg here, Matt.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The ant egg does that too.
Sorry, I like where your head's at, and because the ant egg is a cool monster. Let's instead have it.
Hey, listen, we shouldn't be ashamed of ourselves. We just made the ant egg. That's a pretty good monster. Okay.
Let's make this horrible and stick to the diving part. Let's say that this drops out of trees. Let's say that it
Oh no.
drops out of trees and like eats people. That's or not people.
How about this? It drops out of trees, grabs a thing with its pincers, and then burrows them under the ground like a crocodile, like a reverse crocodile.
Reverse crocodile. I like that. And
peasants call it a reverse crocodile.
Oh yeah, we could just call it like a oh god, like a spiny burrower or something like that.
Yeah. One of the worst things that ever happened to me was I was having an enjoyable picnic in a park here in Texas, and
I know where this is going.
I was like sitting around, like
I'm sure this whatever Matt's about to say has also happened to me. But yeah,
I was like drinking a glass of wine, like literally like lounging, like Greek style, like on a what do you call those couches that are like half a couch?
A chaise lounge.
A chaise lounge on a ground on the ground in a park under a beautiful spreading oak tree, the kind of which we have here in Texas. It's very nice. And like a 6-inch cockroach fell out of the tree, like landed on my forehead in the middle of my eyes. Person I was with like screamed. I screamed. It, like crawled down my entire body. It was terrible. It was really frightening.
That's awful.
Yeah,
that's awful. Yeah, that's too many cockroaches in Texas, to be honest.
So why don't we just call this a tree roach?
Tree roach. Now that I like. Yeah, we'll call it a tree roach. Maybe a great tree roach or something like that.
Great tree roach. Yeah.
And yeah, it drops out of trees, lands on people or livestock, and then drags them into the ground or to a burrow somewhere and eats them. That's awful. I hate that. That's good. This is a good monster.
Yeah. How big is it? So obviously the larvae are microscopic.
Let's say that this is like medium size. This one doesn't have to be super big, but medium is big enough to like carry a person or a dog or something away.
Right. It's the same size as you, and if it catches you unaware, it takes you under.
Yeah. I think that let's see, what's a good approximation for this creature? Yeah, it's medium sized. It's got too many fucking mouths. And let's see, what do we want to base this off of?
I would say just the typical monster ability. Lots of monsters have this. It's called grab. It's called constrict. But the basic melee attack that does the same amount of damage as its bite, and then the target is grappled with an escape DC of whatever. Mm-hmm. And until the grapple ends, the creature is restrained, and then we can give it the extra ability of on its next turn, it doesn't do any more damage, but it will then it can, as a burrow speed of like 10 feet or something like that. Or we could make it easier. We could make it 5 feet. So one of the challenges could be like, can you dig up your friend before they suffocate?
I think that's exactly right. And maybe we just base this off of a giant frog. And then replace the swim speed with a burrow speed.
Or a constrictor stake or a giant constrictor stake. Maybe not giant constrictor stake, but yeah.
And then give it a burrow speed, give it a ability, maybe something to like, that it gets advantage to hide in trees or something like that. So it can get the drop on people. And yeah, maybe we crank up its bite like just a little bit, to a 1d8 or something, 1d8 plus 2, because it's got so many goddamn mouths.
It does have a lot of bites. Yeah, it does. Maybe not blind sight or anything else, thinking a strength of somewhere in the 16, 17 realm. Somewhere like halfway between a constrictor snake and a giant constrictor snake.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah,
or maybe just more like a constrictor snake, because a constrictor snake is already large. If this tree roach is medium, it should be about the same size, a little more concentrated strength. Okay. And then all it has is a bite and a grapple and then a burrow speed. And then we put in the description that it will take them under to, like, basically it doesn't burrow deep into the earth, right? Maybe no more 5 or 10 feet. And it basically, I like this idea in that it makes interesting encounters. It basically, like a crocodile, waits for a prong buck, whatever crocodiles eat.
Yeah, a wildebeest.
Someone in southern Louisiana. No, that's alligators, right? It's just like me in my nightmares when I'm driving on I-10 from Houston to New Orleans. It waits for you to drown, right? It just waits for you to suffocate under the ground. So and that can be nice because maybe it won't wait. It won't kill people. So it's something you could throw under at low level parties, and they can have the fun challenge of
horrifying but defeatable.
And that one wizard with Move Earth, or better yet, the fighter who owns a shovel, can be like, I'm really useful.
Finally, he'll be like, the shovel. I knew it would come in useful.
Really useful. All right. Play
That's
the Ennio Morricone soundtrack of the bride emerging from the buried alive grave. We've got our giant tree roach.
That's a deep cut. Next, and you may be familiar with this one, you might not be, actually have no idea. This next one is the star-nosed mole, better known as the Condylura cristata.
Well, now that you said the Latin name, I know exactly what you're talking about.
How would you describe the star-nosed mole?
It's a mole with a nose that looks like it has a star made of moles, like the ones that grow on your skin.
It's got like
a mole face, with moles on its nose.
A face of like exploded tentacles is really like what it looks like.
Yes.
It's kind of cute, but it's also kind of horrible.
The things on its nose look like a little cancerous and like evil.
And this, unlike the others, like has a bajillion things about it, and it's very well studied, and it's a super interesting animal. It eats insects, worms, small amphibians, and fish. It lives here in North America, on the East Coast, north part of it.
It's my least favorite America, but continue.
And when I saw this, also, one, they look really cool. We'll include a picture, but I immediately thought of the Star Spawn. And
explain to our listeners what these Star Spawn are.
Well, maybe you should, because these are your you were the one who I think I've encountered Star Spawn in your games more times than in any like other context all combined. But yeah, tell us about the Star Spawn, Matt.
They're like a worm that walks, that like has some kind of collective sentience that maybe comes from beyond. Is that the one you're talking about?
There's one that's got a starfish tentacle face head.
Are you talking about the one with trilateral symmetry?
Maybe I'm confusing this.
Are you confusing this with Amigo?
No, I know what Amigo is.
Okay, you know what Amigo is.
Well, actually, am I?
Dumbest conversation of all time. Where two nerds confirm that they both know what Amigo is. Listeners, if you know what Amigo is too, well, good for you. If you don't, that's also fine, because who the fuck cares?
Hold on a second while I remember what.
Are you specifically talking about the star spawn of Cthulhu? Because that just looks like Cthulhu.
No.
Are you talking about the star spawn that are like worms, or
didn't we fight something with like a weird starfish head? Like
Starro the Conqueror.
We love Starro. Am I confusing this with something else? What am I thinking of?
It's not Amigo, but it's like Amigo. Are you right in this? It's something from the mythos.
It's something mythos related. Why I'm really like fucking this up. I really thought that I knew what a star spawn was, but now I'm
Is it
confused.
an elder thing? An elder thing.
Maybe it's an elder thing. Sorry, this would be really dumb if it was an elder thing.
Yeah, it's an elder thing. That's what you're thinking about. They kind of got the
Yes,
the
God
thing.
damn it.
It took us a long time, but we got it.
I'm
Okay,
so
yeah.
sorry. All right,
Yeah.
two nerds don't know what they're talking about, but we both know what Amigo is.
Rob, the elder thing has like a thing on its like head.
Sorry.
That's like the little evil dogs from Stranger Things. It opens like a leaf.
Yes.
And yes,
sorry.
that's what a mole
That's what a
looks like.
fucking
It's got the leaf.
star-nosed mole looks like. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, everybody. We're going to cut all of this
Listen,
out.
well, Amigo and an elder thing are very different. So
I'm
so
aware.
I'm glad we had the conversation. It's
Okay,
it's
Jesus
important.
Christ. Some Cthulhu nerd is going to just run roughshod over me for this.
They're just gonna be slowly inserting a fork into the top of their thigh, just trying to make it through that conversation.
All right, so I was thinking of an elder thing, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
an
the
elder
star-nosed mole looks like a mole elder thing. So how do we make a magical beast elder thing? Is what I was thinking of. Is like what? How do we make that happen?
Okay, first we could say in our description that it also has like trilateral or radial symmetry. So it's got another pair of like flippers and feet on the top of the mole. Oh, how about this? The star-nosed mole is just an elder thing pet. It was their dog's once, and they left it behind.
That's perfect. Right. That's exactly right. It's an elder thing pet.
Okay, and then question, like, what was it for? Was it like elder thing's best friend, or was it like more of an elder thing cat? It just kind of went along with them in their cities. Like what?
I
what
like
was
the
its
idea.
use?
I like the idea of it being an elder thing cat. That it just kind of tagged along. That it lived in their cities and ate their food and. But it didn't have a job. It was just sort of a creature that evolved alongside them that persisted after the elder things left.
Perfect. What does it eat? Technology? Magic?
It eats magic.
Shit?
It eats magic.
Okay.
I think. No, you wanted to eat shit instead?
No. I like that. I like that. As long as we can maybe make it a specific type of magic.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things that are like, ooh, I eat magic. Like
That's true.
what is
maybe we can do better than magic. What if the other thing we do is what if it eats brains or sentience or something like that? Like it eats.
We have enough brain-eating things
That's
in
true.
the
Brain eating is
D&D
pretty common.
mythos.
Let's go with eating magic, and let's say that it likes.
Okay,
do you want to like maybe like a specific school? Oh, what if it eats magic items? What if it? No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, do we want to piss off our players?
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, if it eats something like, does it eat magic scrolls or potions? Then maybe that could be
I like
interesting.
potions.
Are the elder things known for anything? I thought they were known as a technological race.
They are a technological race, but I want this to be something that players might encounter, even if they aren't running around with like elder thing technology, and it would be weird and confusing. But they don't have to have a sonic disruptor on them for it to have a special interaction. I like the idea of it likes potions or powders or scrolls or something that it maybe that's what it was fed by the elder things, was just some sort of like potion mixture, and so it just wants to rummage around in your pack and eat your potion.
Yeah. Oh, maybe is this actually mole sized, right? We've been upping the size of our monsters. Is the elder
I think
thing
this
mole?
one can be small, like a
Okay.
like a big mole, but
It's like a cat.
like a
Cat
badger
mole.
sized. Yeah, like a cat.
I mean,
yeah.
if I saw a mole the size of a cat, I would shit myself.
Yeah. It's still freaky and it can still be threatening. But no, this
Right.
doesn't have to be like ginormous. But yeah, let's say it's cat sized.
Let's say it eats basically anything you would like to put in one of your glass vials as a player
Okay.
character. Alchemist fire, acid, holy water, and most of all, potions, right? It loves potions. And it's maybe got a burrow speed like a mole, and it's very good at chewing through things. Obviously, it's got some resistance to acid and fire if it can do those things. And if you leave your pack in a room so you can go off fighting, it will burrow into it and start chomping into those. Maybe it's not exactly hostile. Like if you feed it some potions, it might be your friend forever.
Yeah, it's weird. It's unsettling. It's obviously unnatural, but it doesn't want to eat you necessarily. And it might not be hostile unless you are hostile toward it. And yeah.
Yeah.
Does
it have any attacks that can threaten a player character? Like,
Yeah.
So maybe it has blind sense because it's a mole.
It's got the tentacles, which, it
Right.
can wrap around and, they're threatening,
But it's maybe no more dangerous than an average cat or a dog, right?
Yeah, maybe like a dog. It could maybe like injure you pretty badly if it's strong, but unless you threaten it, it's not gonna bother to mess you up with its weird tentacles.
Are there no 5e stats for a dog? No, never mind. There's a mastiff from one of the sources.
That's right.
Okay. I was like, is there no dogs? All right. Okay, we could just take it from a dog, take it down a notch to make it small, cat size, or maybe we just use the cat stats. We give it a burrow speed, and maybe we give it a bad thing of it has bad sight. It has blind sight, but bad sight, and we will put in the notes for the ecology. It will go straight for any magical liquids, whether they're alchemical or a potion. It'll chew through them and drink them. It's not immediately hostile, but if you're holding a bag in one hand and trying to keep it away, it will go through you to get to that bag.
It really wants your potions. It wants,
And
wants
it was just left behind by the elder things whenever they colonized whatever fantasy world you're in a billion years ago. I like the idea that the elder things invaded and there was a bunch of scary stuff, but actually none of it matters. The only thing that really matters is they left their cats here.
They didn't take their cats with them. Yeah, that's the only real legacy that the elder things left behind.
The elder thing mole. What are we calling it? Elder thing mole?
Oh,
The elder mole?
Yeah, the elder mole. I like that.
I think it should make a cute noise.
I think it should make a cute noise as well. I think it make
Okay,
a
good.
weird cute noise.
We're agreed
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Could be friendly if your players are amenable to it. But it's weird. It's weird and unsettling.
Makes cute noise like David Bowie crooning on Hunky Dory. Okay, that's what I did. What do you want to do next? Wait, or is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay. We just did really cute thing, but I have another cute thing. Okay, actually,
we can do two cute things in a row because the last one I want to do is not cute.
okay. No, I'm gonna go with.
There's no rule that we can't do two cute things in a row, Matt.
Okay, I'm gonna go with one that is just, one of my favorite animals. But let's just take a regular animal and fantasy it up. I thought about doing the Bonacon, which is a giant bull that farts fire, which, just take that. But how about something I found in Pliny the Elder's Natural History? The ichneumon, which Pliny describes as a creature from Egypt that plunges itself immediately into the mud, dries itself in the sun, and by this means of deception, armed in its coatings, it proceeds into combat. He's basically freaking out, and he's describing badly like a mongoose that fights reptiles or serpents, but he either by mistranslation in like medieval times or whatever describes it as a thing that hunts and eats dragons. So,
ooh, this is very cool.
A cool looking mongoose that hunts dragons. Can we pull this one off?
Oh, yes, we can. So we want to make it. Well, there's a lot going on here. Thank you, Pliny. You gave us a lot to work with here.
Yeah, sorry. Pliny, not
okay.
Pliny.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I
wasn't classically trained
here's the thing. Somebody's going to get mad at me, but nobody has heard Latin spoken by a native speaker ever. So we don't fucking know. Don't get mad.
I mean, I hear low Latin every day whenever I turn on my 1960s, a new wave French pop playlist.
I'll say it Pliny, but whatever. Dragon Mongoose is a rad concept. I'm all here for it. Okay, so this creature needs to be big. Needs to be at least. Right. I think it needs to be large.
This is our big boy mongoose, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you're hunting dragons, it's got to be big enough to kill a dragon, right?
Now, it doesn't need to be too big. You know, a large a mongoose can take on a snake that's bigger than it. So we'll say large is good enough for the dragon mongoose.
Right. Maybe it can't kill every dragon, but let's say, okay,
it's
what
good
would you say is the average dragon? Like
average,
an adult.
Adult, right? An adult's huge,
adult
right?
blue?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say adult blue because I'm thinking desert.
Yeah.
And that's a huge.
But I still think I think our
CR16.
I think our dragon mongoose can probably, under the right circumstances, take this on.
Okay.
So, if it's gonna fight average dragons, then it probably needs to be pretty powerful. So
maybe it's a thing that hunts young dragons, right? Dragons
say
lay a lot of. We'll say in our ecology, dragons lay a lot of legs. No, I'm done. You
lay
go.
A lot of eggs. There's
a lot of eggs.
There's a lot of young wormling-sized dragons, wormling to young. They get up to large. Bigger than that, they're not too worried about the dragon mongoose. The dragon mongoose will run around. It goes into dragon lairs and it hunts them. Obviously, it can't fly, so it finds them where they are. It fights, it kills and eats them, or not eats them, but doesn't eat them. Does a mongoose eat snakes?
Listen, I'm gonna say yes. I don't think it just fights them for fun, right?
That would be cool if it did.
That'd be super awesome. If Molly was like, I'm just out here killing snakes. What's up with you, bro?
Fighting for fun.
This is like an MMA fighter. It's like, I do it for the love of the game.
Does it for the love. Yeah,
Dana White told me to do
this.
Just
loves to fight. Okay.
I say this, and sorry for the noise, like as my dog is thrashing a toy frog back and forth, like he is a mongoose himself.
He's got that hunter instinct. I do think they eat snakes. All right, so they hunt and eat dragons. So there's a bunch of things going on here. So I like the whole mud thing. I think we should come back to that because there's something interesting there. I also think that they should have, so in real life, mongooses have a special adaptation where they are not susceptible to snake venom. So I think that our dragon mongooses should be resistant to or immune to magic. So they can better fight dragons.
Right. They're like immune to frightful presence. And I like your idea of going back to large, because if players can befriend like one of these dragon mongooses,
ride one.
Well, it's like, oh my god, my magic weasel pet, my magic sable that I've always wanted, but I can't have one because I don't live in Russia where there are no like fucking pet laws.
Forbidden cats. We all want one.
We just want this little danger noodle here. Oh man, that's a great idea. My players would love to have a fucking weasel
I was immediately
mount.
thinking of this as a mount. So I think it
Okay,
should be
yeah.
large. I think it should be brave. It should be immune to frightful presence. It should have a limited, I guess maybe just like advantage on saving throws versus magic or something like that. Something
How
simple.
about I've seen those like Sable and Weasel Instagram videos. Like they're dexterous. Why don't we just give it like basically
evasion?
the rogue equivalent of evasion, right?
Perfect. That way,
so it can
it
dodge
can avoid
dragon breath.
Dragon breath. That's perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
All right.
And then
After this episode's over, I'm going to go watch a bunch of Weasel. A really sad story. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for a sad story.
My dad found a like injured weasel when he was a kid growing up in Colorado, and he still has like a really grainy photo that he showed me once. He was like, "Yeah, this little tiny weasel and I were inseparable," and like one day he went over and like he bit my dad, so my grandfather's like toe, and like bit the shit out of him, and then grandfather got rid of it. So that was very sad. Grandfather was an asshole, but it was nice to think of my dad like hanging out with his fun
loving
pet.
a little weasel.
Yeah. I want a weasel pet. No, I don't. They're wild animals.
Wild animals, Matt.
Is the 60s was a different time. You can all forgive my father for having a weasel pet.
Okay, so they fight dragons. They're large. They've got evasion. They've got they're immune to fear because they're brave and heroic. They can be ridden. All right, hold on. We got most of this. This is already a great damn animal.
We can just take the weasel stats, so really, really high dexterity, right?
Okay.
And pump them up to a large creature. Obviously, like when I think of a mongoose fighting a snake, I think of it like grabbing it on the neck,
grabs on the neck,
flipping around and not letting go. Mm-hmm. So I imagine that is how our dragon mongoose hunts dragons.
It's got a bite.
Maybe there's
I guess
another
it probably
way.
has a grab attack.
Right. It hides in the mud. It waits for the dragon to come get some water, and it jumps out and grabs it right by the neck where it can't get away.
Or it waits in the lair for the dragon to return, and then it jumps out and
it rolls the eggs out of the lair. Have you ever seen like a ferret roll an egg? It's really nice. It's very good.
Okay. I mean, of course, the dragon mongooses, when they're not hunting full dragons, they eat dragon eggs. So the dragons fucking hate them. But they're tasty eggs. They're delicious eggs. Man, this is
forbidden egg. I would love to have a dragon egg. I'm sure it's very good.
I'm realizing there's so much potential in this creature for adventures and dragon-related escapades. This is great. This dragon mongoose, chef's kiss. A lot going on here. Okay, so it's a weasel. Crank it up to large size. Give it a bunch of dex. A lot more strength. This is going to be large.
Right. I'm trying to think of like I'm looking at like a lion, a polar bear. Like, what's the highest CR large creature? It doesn't get that high.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're basically saying that a dragon mongoose is like maybe like a pretty high level thing. Like your players couldn't,
probably
it's a thing that can kill dragons. So.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be dangerous to your players. But so is a griffin or a lion or you know what might be kind of in the right ballpark is maybe a bulette. Just for general hit points and stats framework. I think that's actually like a little less powerful than we want, but it's in the right.
It's the right size, right? A bulette is large.
It's large.
Flip the strength and dexterity around.
Yep.
Give it a grab bite. Right? Yeah. I think that's okay.
I think that's good.
I mean, the problem with a grab bite is if we're like designing this monster as something players might try and befriend, that can be overpowered, but I'm not really worried about that right now.
Yeah, I think I don't think this would be easy to befriend, and I think by the time they could befriend it, the players would have plenty of powerful abilities.
Yeah,
so
you're not going to worry about.
I mean, if like a level 10 player wants to have a cool mount, the cool mount is probably the least of your concerns as a DM. By then they can cast 5th level spells and do all kinds of nonsense. So,
thinking of the lore or ecology of our dragon mongoose, like, I definitely maybe now I'm thinking more like it's okay. Like, it does have these special abilities, and some chronicler saw it kill a dragon once, but maybe it mostly hunts like wyverns and things like that.
Maybe it mostly eats dragon eggs and young dragons or like wyverns or linorms. Wait, no, linorms are big scary ones. Cragworms or something. Some minor dragons, but they have been known to fight and defeat, young and even sometimes adult dragons when pressed.
Now I want to create a bunch of knights that are like the Order of the Fantasy Mongoose, and they have a cool mongoose on their shield, and they respect the mongoose, and
they love the mongoose.
They eat eggs for breakfast every morning before they go out on a dragon hunt.
I'm a big fan
mongoose.
Of this one. This is great.
Okay. Do we want to actually? I forgot we had the fantasy name, the Ichnuman. I think Dragon Mongoose / Ichnuman is a great. We just call it both. I think that's terrific. Okay. Well, that one's good. That was in
good.
The can. Dragon Mongoose.
Okay. I've got one that's probably a slam dunk, but let's do it real quick to wrap up because I'm excited about this one.
Okay.
The last one that I want to do is the Kiwa Hirsuta, the Yeti crab. I fucking love this horrible crustacean. It literally looks like a crab with big hairy arms. It's a
lifting crab.
It's a strong crab. And
it's got one long tentacle coming from its mouth just to add another thing to it.
Just to make it a little bit weirder. It's got silky blonde setae, which is not hair, but it's like hair. And it's like filamentous bacteria.
I just looked at a picture of a mountain of these crabs climbing on top of each other. It's too much for me, Rob. Too many crabs.
They live. So these are some of the cool animals that live by the very bottom of the ocean by thermic vents. And the pinchers, they use them to detoxify minerals from the hydrothermal vents. They're really cool. Anyway, we should make them into a horrible, awful abomination. Because that's what they look like. So I think that these should just be large Yeti crabs. Just a combination of a crustacean, a little bit like a, what's it called? A chool, except instead of, tentacles, they've just got really long, hairy-ass claw arms. In fact, we could probably even use a chool as the base for this.
Right. They're definitely if you've seen a regular crab, these have their arms are too long, right?
Yeah. It's too long. And so it's got reach. Obviously, this is a.
What do the setae do?
So this is the thing. I think that what should they do? What should these horrible feathery things do?
It's called a Yeti crab. These are crabs that live in the ice and snow. They burrow in glaciers or something. I'm not sure what the setae do, but maybe there's a hint. I think they should be Yeti crabs. I mean, they are white. right?
Yeah.
Let's just say in our fantasy version of it,
Let's
they
keep
live
it simple. They're just Arctic crabs. Arctic Yeti crabs, giant Yeti crabs. Yeah. And the Setae keep them warm.
We could, I mean, like a Remoraz, like they create a area of heat. So we
I
could
like that.
combine
Yeah.
a Chul with a Remoraz.
I like that. They warm sort of the area around them. I think that's good. I think they're like it's like a little bit of a magical effect to, it helps them dig. Helps them dig through glaciers.
Right.
It warms.
They're glacier burrowers
Yes.
or snow burrowers.
Yeah.
So we could give them a slightly less damaging version of the Remoraz's heated body. And then maybe just steal the Chul's pincer attack.
I think that's perfect. Hey, I'd give them reach because they got long arms.
Now, these are things that are like awful and, maybe pop out of an ice wall and like grab you and drag you back. But since they're crabs, I feel bad about eating a lot of types of animals, but usually not crabs, right? Carcinization be damned. I'm not going to evolve into a crab one day.
Will not return to crab. Never return to crab.
No. So like, do we want to give these crabs like a reason for them to be hunted? Like, do they have something
they're delicious,
exciting
Matt.
in their shells or something?
They're delicious. We haven't made a delicious animal yet.
Okay.
They've got. Look, what's the best part of a crab, Matt?
The pincer meat,
The claw meat.
or
The claw meat.
the claw meat. Yeah.
So the Yeti crabs have just fantastic, delicious claw meat.
How about it's slightly magical because of their setia. Eating an ounce of Yeti crab claw meat, it stays in your belly and digestive tract like gum you have swallowed and will keep you warm.
Keeps you warm
for a week, and in fact, it gives you cold resistance 5 for a week. Right?
I think that's
Or
great.
something
I think
like
that's a reason why they're hunted, why they're valuable. That's
Drop
perfect.
it in your Icewind Dale campaign.
That's right.
And
The
your players will
love 'em.
return.
They love to hunt a Yeti crab.
Yeah.
That's perfect. All right.
Okay, Yeti crab. Chul, Remoraz, delicious meat. Got it.
Done and done.
And ice burrow speed.
Okay. Perfect. Well, that's quite a range of mystical, magical animals. We got some friends, some foes, some unknowns. I feel pretty good about what we did here today, Matt.
Yeah, there we go. I think we'll also include a link to our quick and dirty stat write-ups, which, I mean, we could make something more polished, but honestly, this is what we would do for our games at home, so just give you the raw shit.
No rocket science here. 5th edition makes it really easy and also encourages you to just sort of transpose stats. So we'll do a little write-up, but yeah. I'm excited. God, I love the dragon mongoose. Great call, Matt.
Yeah, I just want to be a dragon mongoose now. So noble, so pure, so excitable,
adorable, friendly.
You can get a little feather on a string and swing it around on the floor, and it'll go crazy.
Thank you for listening,
kill that
everybody.
evil dragon. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. And a
Patreon
cord.
We have a Discord. We'll include a link in the show notes. Please come join us. Come talk about whatever you want. Join other listeners of our
It's
fine
mostly
podcast.
about being a dungeon master. Do you want to complain about your campaign? Do you want to be like, I'm stuck? Our Discord's the spot for that.
It's the spot. It's the spot.
Yeah.
We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/dungeonmasterofnone. If you want access to even more homebrew and bonus episodes and other cool things, that's the place to find it.
Which, if you're a Patreon subscriber, stay tuned because our Patreon episode immediately after this one is going to be doing the same thing, but for magic items inspired by real-world artifacts.
Yeah,
right?
It was a fun one.
Yes.
So yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. If you have questions, thoughts, observations, please write us at demofnone@gmail.com. Add us at on Twitter at Dean of None. Thanks again, like I said, for listening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep rolling them dice.